gases, they store and use energy and information. That applies for all of them, right? So here the next one was complete the missing words in the following paragraph. All right, so here we have the difference between concept, pre-concept, and idea, all right?
Wait, explain that first one to me again. So nobody answered that top question correctly?
No, what I said was that nobody select this one, which is right. I mean, 0%.
Okay.
Because in fact they reproduce sexually or asexually.
Oh, these are what percentage of people chose those
Yes.
responses? Okay.
Yes, I mean not everybody
Just making sure I understand what I was looking
answered everything correct. So here we have 48%, but at least nobody select this one, which was the only one that was wrong. Everything else was right, except for this. All right. All right. So complete the missing words of the following paragraph. All right. So here we have for one, we have that basically the idea here is to see the difference between idea and concept. All right. So the concept is closed, is enclosed, is ended, while the idea is open, broad, and unresolved. Right? Humans must keep their blood glucose levels within certain range. If blood glucose gets too high or too low, serious health complications can result. This is an example of homeostasis, right? So it's a balance that we need. We need to balance everything in our living cells in our life. Indeed, we need balance. Otherwise, we're going to die. An enzyme has a chain that gives its function of catalyzing chemical reactions, but the amino acids from which the enzyme is made do not show this ability. So the ability of enzyme to catalyze reactions is an example of an emergent property, right? So it's an emergent property. There were a lot of videos and texts in the models about this. A group of organisms that includes lions, antelope, bacteria, vultures, grasses, zebras, snakes, and mice in a particular area would be described as a community because we have different species. The second most popular was ecosystem. Well, the difference between community and ecosystem is that the ecosystem is more about the relationship between living things and living things and living things and non-living things. But it's more about how energy and information and materials are interchanged. But community is just the group of living things. We have a species, we have we have population, which is before, and population is when they belong to the same species, and community is when they belong to different species. Of course, lions, zebra, mice, they belong to different species. All of them, they belong to different. All right, for the next one, we have which of the following is currently ordered list from smallest to largest. All right, so this is molecule, the first, then we have macromolecule, cell, population. The confusion came with organelle. I think organelle is always tricky because people think of organelle as something like organ, but organelle means little organ. So many people they confuse organelle with organ, and I think that is the confusion. But it's not organ; it's organelle. Remember that. In fact, today we talk about organelles like ER, Golgi apparatus, ribosomes, chloroplast, mitochondria. All right. Which of the following is something that all cells have? DNA. Not all cells have chloroplast. We don't have chloroplast. Mitochondria, well, bacteria and archaea, they don't have mitochondria, right? Bacteria and archaea, they don't have nucleus. Remember I mentioned that at the beginning of the class? They don't have nuclear envelope. The following term is defined as the process by which living things have more chances of surviving in their environment, being able to pass on their genes to the next generations. That is natural selection by definition. A scientist observes a cell using a microscope. She notices that the cell has a cell wall, but does not have nucleus. This should be a bacteria. Bacteria, they always have cell walls. It could be a plant or a fungi because fungi and plants, they also have cell wall, but they also have nucleus. While bacteria, they don't have membrane for the nucleus. Mutations are always produced by chance. There is no reason. They just happen. It's a mistake. Like why? I don't know. It's just bad luck. Good luck. It depends of the context. There are no reasons. All right. Why water is fundamental for life? It is the solvent in which the chemical reactions that make life possible occur. Is a source of energy? Well, water is not a source of energy for no living thing. I mean, the plants, they use light. Photosynthetic organisms, they use light. We eat food. Other organisms, they use also organic molecules as a source of energy. But water is not a source of energy. Never. There is no. I mean, it could be, but in this world, we don't know any living form that is able to extract energy from water. I mean, water has energy, yes, but we don't have the means to extract energy from water. It's like, for example, I don't have the means to extract energy from paper. So I can eat paper, but paper is not going to give me energy. I'm not a termite, right? So indeed, water has energy, but there's no way to extract energy from water. All right, what's the most popular here? It is the major component of all cellular membranes. Well, we just learned today that, and that was mentioned also before, I mean, cellular membranes are made of lipids, and lipids don't like water. Which of the following atomic particles does not have mass? Photons, very good. Photons, most people answer neutrons, but neutrons, they have mass. What they don't have is charge. But light is, and remember that we mentioned that when we were talking about Albert Einstein equation of energy equals mass multiplied by the square velocity. So the most general equation showed us that part. I mean, light doesn't have mass. The light that you see me. Can you see me, Margie? Can you see me, Gabby? Can you see me? This is light, and you can see me because this is light. If you close your eyes, you cannot see me. Light that is going to your eyes don't have any mass. It's pure energy. Pure energy. All right. What is the ultimate source of energy that makes life possible on this planet? The sun. Yeah, pure energy. Photons. That is the pure energy coming from the sun. The atoms of oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon will share electrons with other atoms by forming covalent bonds in order to have a configuration of the octet rule. 8 electrons, right? 84%. Beautiful. Here we have this graph. So we have before and after. Here we have blood pressure. We have different conditions. The placebo group is on the left and the experimental group is on the right. So this is placebo. We don't care. This is something is happening here. So the drug, but not the placebo, decrease the blood pressure. Yeah, that is right. 96%. Beautiful. All right, the following graph shows enzyme activity at different pH. Which conclusion is supported by the data? Here we have neither enzyme has activity at 4. Yeah, that's right. Here we don't have activity. 100%. Beautiful. If you add drops of lime onto a glass of water, the concentration of protons will increase. It will have more protons. I mean, the pH is going to decrease, but the concentration of protons is going to increase. The confusion could be because the definition of pH is as the minus logarithm of the concentration of protons, and that sometimes people get confused. All right, so here we have RPSs, an illustration which shows the general characteristics of life. Here are order, systematic and hierarchical. Reproduction is sexual or asexual. Change is development and evolution. 100% beautiful. All right, this was a little bit confusing. So dogs and wolf, we do not have, we cannot say that dogs are descendant of wolf because wolves are here with us. So what we can say is that both are cousins. So we cannot say that wolf is the grandparent of dogs. What we can say is that they're cousins and they share a common ancestor. The confusion could be because dogs, they have changed more than wolf. So the common ancestor looks more like a wolf than like a dog. And we can say the same thing for humans and gorillas. So we don't say that we descend from gorillas, but we are cousins, and probably our common ancestor looks more like a gorilla than like a human. So that means that we have changed more, but it doesn't mean that we're, we're cousins. That's what it means. So for for analogous and homologous, all right, here we have butterfly wings have the small and fragile bones. That will be, we're looking for the false, and that is false. They don't have bones. Insects don't have bones. Arthropods don't have bones. Can you imagine that you kill a mosquito and it has bones? You will break in the bones, the little bones of the insect. That would be funny. Select the 4 elements that make up more than 95% of the living organisms. So hydrogen, that's beautiful. If 2 atoms are equally sharing 2 electrons, one per what type of chemical bond? That is a non-polar. If they are equally sharing or covalent. Here we have hydrogen bond. What type of bond is attraction between the positive and the 2 partial charged hydrogen bond? Very good. Here we have 2 hydrogen bonds. All right. What was the question? What type? All right, hydrogen bond. Beautiful. Here we have the electronegativities were shown there. All right. And they're asking how many, and it's 2, all right? So here we have 2 of the ones that have low. Here we have similar question, and here we have the oxygen atom, all right? So here we have which atom in this molecule, if any, will have partial negative charge. In fact, the partial will be negative here, and here we have a partial positive, all right? What is the chemical structure of this? All right, it will be 3 carbons, and here we have 6 between those 2, and here we have 8 with 2 in between. All right, so how many single covalent bonds this molecule has? All right, so here we have 8. You have to include also the hydrogens. Probably that was the confusing part. Here we have a carbon with hydrogens. It's not shown, it's not explicit, but it's implicit, right? CH3. All right, probably some people got confused with that. Just pay attention to this tricky thing. All right, the atomic number will always refer to the number of protons. That is the most constant thing. Here we have 2 origins, right? So here we have 1 origin, and here we have another origin, right? So those are analogous, right? That is by definition analogy, when they have different origins. Here we have which of the following will not form bond with other atoms, but those that have 8, so B or 2, yeah, that also works, 2 or 8. Life is fundamentally made of 4 types of organic molecules, which are lipids, nucleic acids, proteins, and sugars. Sugar is how I call my wife, or carbohydrate. I cannot call her carbohydrate. That will be weird, right? The functional. I have to correct this. Group circling the molecule is hydroxyl. By the way, Carl, here you have hydroxyl. What kind of molecule is this? Fatty acid. Here we have the hydroxyl here. Sorry, the carboxylic group here. What kind of molecule is this? A nucleotide. You see the sugar, the phosphate, and the nitrogenous base. All right, match. All right, so here we did that in the, I showed this slide in the class. All right. Select the 4 major type of biomolecule macromolecules, right? It's the same question that we got before. Select the functional groups that are found in this molecule. So the phosphate, we have the hydroxyl, again, hydroxyl. Here we have the carbonyl, by the way. Here we have the carbonyl, so here we have 1 carbonyl. Here we have another carbonyl, right? Which is different compared to the carbonyl. All right, pick the answer the best to describe the following molecule. Is a polar and hydrophilic. Yeah. Here, how many polar covalent bonds? Right? Sorry, non-polar, 0. They're all of the bonds that are covalent are polar. We did that in class. The container of the cell is the plasma membrane, which made up primarily of which type of biomolecule? Phospholipids. Which of the following is true regarding bases? They decrease the concentration of hydrogen ions in the solution. Yeah, bases, they do that. Acids, they release probably when you add drops of lime into a glass of water. If you add a strong acid to a solution with initial pH 8, what will happen? Because the solution will increase, right? Here, what functional groups here we have? Again, carboxyl. All right, here we have this equation, and we move things here. Which will be the reaction procedure if we add more of any two SO4, right? We're adding this, so it's going to move to the left, right? As you can see here. Which type of, and it's going to move to the left because we're increasing this, so it's going to, it's going to look for balance. It's a kind of homeostasis, but it's not homeostasis, it's just an active balance that happens in any chemical reaction. Which type of reaction breaks down larger molecules into smaller molecules? Hydrolysis or catabolism. Oxygen is a source of energy for plants. Oxygen is like water, never is a source of energy for anybody. The source of energy is light or food. A group of cells that have similar structure and function is called tissue. All cells have plasma membrane. Yes! All right! Any questions, any comments? I have taken 7 minutes of your life. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to cover